A karmic pattern is when events, thoughts, or emotions keep repeating in a person's life. These often form our central themes of life. Every karmic pattern carries a deeper message, but we remain so occupied with our immediate problem that we fail to understand the core message. So, patterns repeat until we learn the important lesson. Through experience, struggle, and understanding, our soul moves towards greater maturity. Today, I will explain three prominent karmic patterns that often cause untold suffering. The me and mine pattern, seeing life through gain and loss. The me and mine pattern is one of the strongest tendencies of the human mind. It exists in some form with almost everyone. Before the mind understands an event in its proper perspective, it first asks, what do I gain from this? Or what might I lose? As a result, life becomes a highly personal and subjective experience. Every event is seen to bring us either pleasure or pain rather than equanimity. We find it difficult to remain a witness because we identify ourselves with every thought, person, emotion, and situation. This constant involvement keeps the mind tied to material life. It strengthens the feeling of I and mine. In this way, the ego becomes more powerful and more visible. Let us take a simple example. Suppose a close friend receives an opportunity or achieves the success that we had always hoped for. Outwardly, we may congratulate the person. Inwardly, however, the mind may begin to compare. Why did this happen to them and not to me? Am I falling behind? What does their success say about my own life? At that moment, we are no longer simply witnessing another person's happiness. We begin to interpret their success through our own sense of gain and loss. The friend's achievement is no longer seen as an independent event. Instead, the ego seeks validation. Their success begins to feel like our failure, even though nothing has actually been taken away from us. The mind gets caught in comparison and insecurity. It creates disappointment around an event that was never truly about us. This is the me and mine pattern that creates suffering even when no real loss has occurred. So, when an event disturbs us, we can ask, has something truly been taken away from me? Or is my mind creating a false sense of personal loss? The better choice, better life pattern, the illusion of being the exception. Life is the best teacher is an age old saying, yet we rarely stop to ask what it is actually trying to teach us. Life often sends lessons through the experiences of other people. Nature allows us to witness their struggles so that we may learn without having to personally face the same lesson in the same form. However, the mind often separates our life from others. We tend to treat ourselves as an exception, so we may feel sympathy when someone experiences tragedy or loss. Yet, beneath that sympathy, the mind often begins to search for reasons. The mind thinks they did not weigh the pros and cons. They were careless. They were not well informed. These explanations may sometimes contain a degree of truth, but there is often a hidden motive behind them. By finding fault in the other person's choices, we place ourselves in a safer and superior position. We begin to believe that others suffer because they chose poorly, while we shall remain safe because of our wise choices. This is a subtle psychological trap. The mind assumes that it makes exceptional choices and therefore nature will treat it differently. The mind makes us feel that through our careful planning, we can create a perfectly controlled life free from any decline or uncertainty. We believe that our imagination can become a reality. Consider the example of a friend who is going through a painful marriage. We may genuinely feel sorry for her, yet the mind may quietly conclude that she chose the wrong partner or ignored warning signs that were very obvious. This is the mind's way to feel secure. It convinces us that we are more observant and will choose more wisely. We then assume that our own relationship will remain secure. People do not deliberately choose suffering. No one selects a partner with the intention of experiencing pain later. At the time of choosing, there is usually an expectation of happiness, love, or security. People change, circumstances and emotions change. Life itself changes, so change is the only constant. No person is completely free from it. This does not mean that everyone must face difficulty in marriage. The lesson may appear through health, finances, career, family, or another area of life. The suffering of another person comes into our awareness for a reason. Nature keeps reminding us that she can test in ways that cannot always be predicted. Planning and caution are valuable, but they cannot guarantee a perfect marriage. The same applies to all other aspects of life like health, career, finances, etc. So, when we judge another person's difficulty, we can ask, am I learning from their experience or am I finding fault merely to reassure myself? The lesson is not to become fearful, it is to become humble and remain in a state of gratitude. The I know pattern, mistaking perception for truth. The I know pattern arises from the mind's belief that it understands perfectly. We assume that what we see is the truth, but we rarely notice that our perception has actually been shaped by past experiences, memories, fears, and personal judgments. Every ordinary person carries this tendency, therefore, two people rarely meet each other in their real self. They meet through the filters of their own minds. So, the image we form of another person is often self created. It is not the complete reality of who that person is. The pattern becomes one of the main causes of misunderstanding. When our belief is strong, we become less open to another person's perspective. So, when their words or actions do not match our interpretation, we may assume that they are pretending, hiding something, or lying. We ourselves may not fully understand our own motives, fears, and inner contradictions. Therefore, knowing another person completely is even more difficult. Consider an example. Suppose a person asks a friend for financial help. The friend offers support out of goodwill without any hidden intention. Later, the person who received the help may begin to view the friend's behavior through a feeling of indebtedness. If the friend replies late to a message, the delay may be interpreted as avoidance. The friend's tone may be interpreted as neglect, pride, or superiority. The person may begin to feel burdened, inferior, or judged. In reality, the friend may be facing difficulties at home. Because of emotional stress, they may have naturally withdrawn from social interaction. Their silence may have nothing to do with the financial help, yet the mind connects both events and creates a story. The mind may judge the friend to ease the discomfort of feeling indebted. So, a sincere act of support then becomes a seed of misunderstanding. The I know pattern keeps trying to teach us that we can never fully know another person. We must first get rid of our personal biases to understand another person. What we perceive is not reality, it is reality colored and distorted by the mind. Before judging another person, we can ask, what do I truly know and what has my mind added to the situation? This is one of the most difficult patterns to recognize because the mind rarely questions its own conclusions. However, through sincere sadhana, self-observation and appropriate guidance, this pattern can gradually weaken. Recognizing a karmic pattern intellectually is only the beginning. The same pattern can appear differently in different people. It can be dominant for some through relationships, while for certain others through finances. Through sincere self-observation and sadhana, these patterns gradually become clearer. When a person is unable to understand why a certain difficulty continues to repeat, personal spiritual guidance can help them examine the root cause. Gradually, our complaints reduce and happiness begins to flow despite imperfect situations.